Ladies and gentlemen, it's officially time. The air is getting crisp, the weather is getting colder, which means Mareep is ready to make its return during the Community Day Classic during this festive month of November. For those of you who celebrate, I want to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. Today we're going to be covering the full event, which is everything you need to know with the addition of some tips and tricks. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. So the Mareep Community Day Classic is bringing back this electric Pokemon on November 25th from 2 to 5 p.m. where Mareep will be appearing everywhere in the wild during this time. Now specifically during this event, Mareep will also be getting boosted shiny odds of 1 in 25, which is the standard shiny rate during events like this. In addition to the shiny boost, we'll also be getting several event bonuses such as quarter egg hatch distance, 3-hour lore modules, 3-hour incense, and if you take some snapshots, you'll get 5 extra encounters with Mareep. So not as many bonuses as we usually get, but still pretty decent. Another great feature that could be considered a bonus is when you evolve Flaffy into an Ampharos during the event or up to 2 hours after, so between 2 and 7 p.m. your time, Ampharos will learn the legacy charged attack Dragon Pulse. Now, if you happen to have a Shadow Mareep saved up and wanted to evolve it into an Ampharos during this event, just know that it will not learn Dragon Pulse when you evolve it and will learn the move Frustration instead. We'll also be getting exclusive field research tasks that will get you encounters with Mareep, Stardust, Great Balls, berries, and a few other rewards, and there will be an optional $1 special research story that you can purchase. So this will basically just get you some additional encounters with Mareep, Flaffy, and Ampharos, as well as some other items which could possibly have Mega Energy for Ampharos. Again, this is optional, so you don't need to buy it to participate, but usually it's worth it, especially if Mareep is one of your favorite Pokemon. And for the final detail, Mareep and Ampharos will be featured in Pokestop showcases, so you can enter your biggest or smallest Pokemon to try to win some pretty decent rewards. With the event details out of the way, let's hop right into the tips and tricks, starting with everyone's favorite, Mareep's 100% IVs. So yes, for those of you unaware, there are various CPs that will actually result in Mareep being a hundo, but out of this list, there are only a couple that will actually guarantee a 100% IV. So starting with the most common approach, if you catch a Mareep in the wild during rainy weather, Mareep will become weather boosted, which means the highest level it can be is level 35, which has a CP of 920. So any Mareep you find that has a CP of 920 will automatically be guaranteed a hundo. Now, if you're catching Mareep in anything other than rainy weather, then the level 30 Mareep will be the highest level it can be, and 849 will be the 100% IV you'll want to look out for. Other than catching it in the wild, if you encounter any Mareep through field research tasks, it will always be caught at level 15, which means if you get one with a 424 CP, you will also have another guaranteed hundo. Now, with that being said, there are also 32 other CPs that will result in a 100% IV, but are a little more complicated to get since they're not guaranteed like the ones I just mentioned are. So for example, just because you ran into a Mareep with a CP of 481 doesn't necessarily mean it will be a hundo, since it could be a lower CP just at a higher level. So basically, the best thing you could do is just catch as many as you can. If you're able to complete field research tasks as well, you might as well focus on those too to improve your chances. With that being said, let's transition into the PvP IVs for Ampharos. So if you don't already know, you want to try and find these Pokemon with a low attack, high defense, and high HP. So long story short, this will basically make your Pokemon level up a lot slower, since the attack stat dictates how much the CP increases, which will also make them bulkier at the same time. So starting it off in the Great League, a 0-14-10 is the #1 rank for Ampharos in this league. Then in the Ultra League, you'll want to look for a 0-15-13, and of course, for Master League, you'll want to get a hundo, which is a 15-15-15. But again, any of these other IVs that have smaller values will also play very well in any of these 3 leagues. And if you want to check the IV that your Pokemon has and where it's ranked in a specific league, make sure you download an app like Pokegenie, which will show you that very easily. Now, this wouldn't be worth it if we didn't ask the question, is it actually worth getting Ampharos specifically for PvP? And the answer to that is not really. This Pokemon overall will bring a surprise factor with the movesets it can have, but will lack the bulkiness and viable fast attack, which makes it rank at 372 and 393 in Great League, and 185 and 213 in Ultra League, and that's depending on if it's a Shadow or not. Now, in order to power up and evolve your Mareep, you're going to need to get some candies, and since there unfortunately isn't an event bonus for this, you'll need to rely on a couple easy ways to get some. Starting off by using Pinap or Silver Pinap berries. You'll get a bonus multiplier of 2 for the regular and 2.34 for the silver ones, so definitely use either of these berries on Mareep throughout this event. You also get extra catch candies whenever you Mega Evolve a Pokemon with the same type, so if you didn't know, whenever you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, you'll get boosted catch candies and XP for Pokemon of the same type as the Mega Evolved Pokemon. So for this event, you want to Mega Evolve an electric type such as Mega Manectric or Mega Ampharos to get those extra candies. And finally, for the last too, you can either transfer Pokemon or trade them with a friend. Just know that if you plan on transferring them, you can get extra candies during the Spotlight Hour in December that has double transfer candy as the bonus. But if you can't wait that long, you can also just transfer them and get one additional candy. Now, as one of the bonuses during this event, we'll have 1/4 egg hatch distance whenever you place an egg in an incubator during this event. Now, this might not be the flashiest bonus, but if you do save a couple 10-kilometer or even 12-kilometer eggs and start them during this event, you can get a bunch of them done pretty quickly. So when you take a look at this hatch chart, 2-kilometer eggs will take a half a kilometer, 5-kilometer eggs will take 1.25, 7 kilometers will take 1.75, 10-kilometer eggs will take 2, and 12-kilometer eggs will take 3 kilometers to hatch. Just remember that you can also use this super incubator instead of a normal one, so if you choose to do that, then you'll be able to speed up this process even further by reducing each of those distances by 1/3. So for example, rather than a 10-kilometer egg taking 2 kilometers to hatch, it'll take roughly 1.33 during this event, which is a pretty substantial difference. Now that leaves us with our last tip, which is the platinum medals. So if you aren't aware, you'll need 35 platinum medals to get from level 48 to 49 in Pokemon Go, so I want to go over which ones are the easiest ones to grind during this event. Of course, starting with the easiest one, since Mareep is an electric type Pokemon, you'll be able to progress through the Rocker medal, which requires you to catch 2,500 electric Pokemon, so this one's a pretty easy one. The next one you can work on is a newer one called Showcase Star, which requires you to win 100 Pokestop showcases to get the platinum medal. So again, any Mareep that you catch during this event that is extra small or extra large will be perfect to add to these contests. With that being said, another medal that falls perfectly into this topic is the Jumbo Pokemon Collector and Tiny Pokemon Collector medals. So both of these will require you to get 500 extra small or extra large Pokemon. Now, if you happen to get one, make sure you evolve that Pokemon since it'll also count as another Pokemon for this medal. So if you got an extra small Mareep, evolving it into a Flaffy and Ampharos will count as an additional 2 Pokemon, which will speed up this process pretty nicely. And lastly, we'll also have 3-hour lore modules, so the Picnicker medal will be a very good one as well. So this one doesn't really require a lot of effort. All you gotta do is use a lore module at any Pokestop, and when people catch Pokemon off your lore, you'll rank this medal up. Ideally, you want to do this at any park or busy area, so really anywhere where there's a lot of people, but if you live in a more rural area, throwing a lore module down still won't hurt either way. With that being said, that is my Mareep Community Day Classic tips and tricks. It's a pretty simple and straightforward event, so if you do plan on playing it, I hope you have the chance to get something you've been looking forward to, but if not, it's safe to say you're not alone. Regardless, make sure you comment below on any other tips you have or cool Pokemon that you've caught, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.